Hello, everyone. I'm Nadine, owner of NG Platinum Homes, and welcome to What Makes This Design Great. Today, I have with me Sherry Millien of Terra Vista Interior Design Group. So thank you for joining me today again.
Thank you.
It's always lovely to have you, talk to you, show your work. We're going to talk about Gainesway today, and this is a living room project that you did, and we're going to get into details about what the inspiration was. We'll talk a little bit about the client and go from there. So let's look at the befores. Here we go. So not too inspiring when you take a look at the before. It looks like it definitely needs some amplified work when it comes to interior design. So let's talk about what you did here. You can talk about the client. You mentioned that they traveled. When you go to the after, now we can see the difference between the before and the after. They did keep some pieces that are special to them. So let's talk a little bit about the client first.
Great. So they called me. They were a referral from another client. They were an older couple. They had traveled a lot, lived a lot overseas. So they had collected a lot of, as you can kind of see, more European antique pieces. And they had not originally intended for this to be in a home that they had lived in as long as they did. And then it just turned out to be, okay, this is going to be our retirement home. This is going to be the home we stay in forever. And so we have decided that we want to go ahead and update it, refresh it, and make it, more who we are and who we want to be. So
And more cozy.
And cozier, yes.
Bring in the rug, which is very nice. It's simple, but it does add a lot to the space when you see it there. So, and then the window coverings, those are beautiful. If you can zoom in on the window coverings there, looks like there's some birds there. So cute.
That was the inspiration piece for the design of the home. It kind of launched the whole scheme. Where do we want to go? Again, we're keeping with the traditional pieces, but we wanted to bring a more youthful flair. So that was still a very traditional pattern. But again, the colors that you used were some of the softer mintier greens and some russet colors. So it was a great way to introduce the palette.
Yeah, I love it. I can see it down there when you can zoom out now. The pillows on the couch have that russet color. Beautiful. Which looks lovely with the old wood that you have on the grandfather clock and the armoire that's in the back there that you can see that was from their travels, as you mentioned,
right,
which is very nice. And then what about the furnishings? So let's talk about that. So you have some nice blue tones, cream-colored sofa. Where did you procure those from, and what was the inspiration behind using these specific furnishings?
So we actually kept in here the grandfather clock. Is original, and that bergère chair kind of in the back corner that's got the blue pattern to it, that was reupholstered. So those are the pieces we kept. And again, we wanted to keep in the traditional feel and honor the pieces that they had, but we wanted bring in a youthful flair. So we sourced the sofa from Gabby. It has kind of a lower line to it. It's got a clean look, so it cleans up more of the curvy, ornate lines to some of their existing pieces. Again, brings in more of that modern, youthful edge to it, and in a neutral fabric that will be timeless, and they can change colors if they want to with it.
And the table lamp there. First of all, the table and the table lamp are lovely.
So the table is also Gabby. The lamp is Uttermost. Again, it was one of my favorites. The table is a little higher, as you can see. And so with the height of the table and sort of the light wood that we blended with the darker woods, we needed to go with a lamp that didn't have as much height to it, that had a little bit more of a proportion, that was a little bit shorter, so that didn't outdo the chairs that were next to it.
And if you can zoom out on this photo, so I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't see the whole view of the home, the entry of the home is somewhere close by here,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So the beautiful thing about the height of that table is when you walk in and you see the whole space, you can actually see the table. Because if you were to put a low table like this, you wouldn't even see the table. So that was a great idea.
Thank you.
To put it elevated, so then that way you can see the whole table. So that's beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, it's an important piece, again, because we wanted to bring a more youthful look to very stodgy traditional pieces that you typically think of them as. And so that table again. Thank you for noticing that, because it does draw attention to a more youthful, playful piece in the room that helps to make everything else not take itself so seriously.
Yeah. And of course, the lighting is amazing. It seems like it would be simple, but it's beautiful and timeless as well.
Timeless. Yeah, it's an updated version of, your more traditional chandelier with the arms that you see. So again, we wanted it to be more transitional, more modern looking, but we didn't want to take away from the lovely traditional timeless pieces that they have.
And then the dining light too is lovely. And where did those come from?
They're both arterial pieces. So I like to work with arterials. They're a great line that, again, they have sort of a traditional nod to some of their foundational lines, but then they bring in that more transitional, modern edge to it, so it keeps them from being too stuffy looking.
Kind of like what I put in my dining room.
Yes, very much like
If
that.
nobody knows, she designed my dining room and it came out absolutely beautiful too. We should do an episode about that.
We do need to do an episode.
We need to do an episode about that next, because that was another amazing transformation. So that one will be coming up next for sure. Yes. If you look at the befores and afters, and I asked you if the paint was also redone here, and you said you did paint the room. But the color schemes do go quite well. You did paint, but the color schemes go quite well with the new furnishings. So it's a new fresh paint or it's a new color? Because they're very similar.
They're very similar. First, the before pictures, the lighting isn't as good, so you can't tell. It's a brighter white. It's not as warm of a white. And of course, it was the original color. So we wanted to keep with the lighter colors, but we wanted to update it. So we used Sherwin-Williams Shoji White because it comes off as white in the space, but it's a much warmer white, so it feels warmer and more inviting. It kind of envelops you as you walk through the house.
Okay, and not stark white, as a lot of people don't like to use now. I mean, I don't know, as an interior designer, what are you hearing about the whites? I'm hearing as a builder, a lot of people are like, I want white, but not hospital white, as I hear.
Right. Well, and a lot of people, if left to their own resources with whites, they're hard because they'll just go with your very bright whites. And so, yes, you want to use more of what you kind of say, more of your complex beiges are sort of what are in now. And it's still your white, your creamy tones, which this is more of a creamier undertone. But it's just softer. It doesn't feel as cold when you walk in, not as institutional.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one.